Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Well, this week we're celebrating National Book Lovers Day, which is coming up on August 9th. And my special guest is Carol Orange, who is an art expert and an author, and she'll be talking about her latest book, and we'll also talk about ways to celebrate National Book Lovers Day. And I'll be sharing an excerpt from my new book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diary Seasons. So stay with me. So coming up is National Book Lovers Day, and as mentioned, I wanted to share with you some ways that I've heard from listeners on how they're going to share National Book Lovers Day, and maybe you can also share with us if you have any other ideas, hashtag the Maria Liberati Show, and share with us any other ways that you're celebrating National Book Lovers Day. So you can organize a book exchange, host a book club, go to the library, treat yourself to a new book, plan a National Book Lovers Party, or read to children. So that is about 6 different ways you can celebrate National Book Lovers Day. And as mentioned, if you have any other ideas, because it's coming up on August 9th, please share with us, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and place on social media or on the website for the marialiberattishow.com. And as promised, in honor of National Book Lovers Day, here is another excerpt from my latest book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diaries, and it's subtitled Seasons because each chapter represents a season, and each chapter has diary entries from that season. And as I've always mentioned, this book is from the diaries that I kept while I was living in Italy, creating the Basic Art of Italian Cooking books and my TV series. So the excerpt that I'm reading is in the summer chapter, and it's titled My Life in Food, Tuscan Staycation Picnic. The Mona Lisa, a bottle of Chianti, and day-old bread. My idea of the perfect picnic in Tuscany, that is. Picnic season is here, and no one does it better than the Tuscans. From an elegant yet simple buffet table in the rustic style, who can refute that they've turned simplicity into an art and a science? I feel like I'm the only person on earth who isn't in a frenzy hurrying to barbecue now that Memorial Day and 4th of July has come and gone. Is it some kind of Pavlovian dog signal that sets off once summer arrives? Time to take out hot dogs and hamburgers, break out the barbecue. It's the same old boring fare. Maybe my differing take on Memorial Day comes from living a transatlantic lifestyle. Caught between Italy and the United States, Tuscany is never far from my heart or mind, even if I'm not always there in body. The Tuscans seem to have invented the very idea of the casual yet elegant, simple yet sophisticated picnic. Grilling is part of summer fare, but where else could day-old bread be so chic? Used as a panzanella salad, it's an uber tasty treat along with Tuscan olive oil, fresh tomatoes, fresh basil, and paired with a glass of Chianti. But you don't need to go to Tuscany to eat Tuscan. Try a Tuscan staycation at home and create the same relaxed feeling. Try a rustic vase with sunflowers, brightly colored plates. Avoid a tablecloth to simplify your setting, and hope for a really sunny day. Make this a summer to picnic in style. To quote Leonardo da Vinci, that famous Tuscan who practically invented the Tuscan lifestyle, simplicity is an art. So here's my recipe for a Tuscan panzanella salad to complete your Tuscan staycation. 12 slices of day-old crusty bread, 4 tablespoons of white wine vinegar, 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and it should be extra virgin cold press, a half a pound of red ripe tomatoes, 1 red onion, 1 fresh cucumber, 1 handful of basil leaves, and a pinch of salt. And don't forget some freshly ground black pepper. Slice the bread into 12 slices. Place the bread in a bowl with a 1/4 cup of water and 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Leave for 3 minutes. Remove and squeeze the water out from the bread. Place the wet bread slices on the bottom of the salad bowl. Top the bread with tomato slices, sliced cucumber, sliced red onion. Drizzle in the olive oil, the vinegar, pinch of salt, freshly grated black pepper, and toss gently. And the trick for this Tuscan panzanella salad is that the bread has to be really crusty, day-old bread so that it won't get overly soggy when you soak it in the water and vinegar. The other recipe to add to your Tuscan staycation is grilled porcini mushrooms. So you're going to need 8 large porcini mushroom caps, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 handful of fresh parsley, 4 tablespoons of extra virgin cold pressed olive oil, salt and freshly ground black pepper to taste. Clean the mushroom caps gently with a wet paper towel. Do not wash them under water, but clean them delicately with a damp paper towel. Chop the fresh parsley and garlic together. Place the mushroom caps, olive oil, chop parsley, garlic, salt, and pepper to taste to marinate in a bowl for about 3 minutes. Turn over and marinate for another 3 minutes. Place on a hot grill for about 10 minutes, about 5 minutes on each side or until tender, and serve immediately with your panzanella salad. Okay, so, we're getting ready for, I just love books. I don't know how my listeners feel. I'm hoping everybody loves books. Books are so, it's a great way to transport you anywhere, learn about anything. And we're getting ready for August 9th is actually National Book Lovers Day. And I have on, today we have on Carol Orange, who is the author of such an incredible book. It is just so interesting, especially for art lovers, but really for anyone. Such an interesting and incredible story. It's called A Discerning Eye, but Carol has an interesting background herself in the art world. She's an expert. So I'm going to welcome you, Carol Orange, to my show, to the Maria Liberati Show. And Carol, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Maria, for having me on. Yes, my background is in both art history and in English. I studied at Cornell University, and I fell in love with the art world when I was there taking art history courses. After I graduated, I was really fortunate. I had this great job in London working on a book of Spanish art with a man named Xavier de Salas. He was then the attaché at the embassy in London, the Spanish embassy. He later became the director of the Prado Museum. So imagine how lucky I was.
Oh, yes.
Senor de Salas. So I learned so much about art history from him. And I then had a gallery in Boston for many years. So when the robbery happened at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, which is such a gem of a museum, I mean, it was my favorite place to go to. when I lived in Boston for
Uh-huh.
30 years.
Uh-huh.
So I, thought about who could have done such an absolutely horrible thing, because it deprives the people
Uh-huh.
of 13 magnificent works of art. One of them is Vermeer's The Concert, and there are only 36 Vermeers in the
Oh,
world.
wow. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to tell our listeners, in case they don't know, A Discerning Eye is about this unbelievable theft of these 13 works of art. I didn't really mention that. So I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes, Vermeer
Okay,
was one of them. Yes.
yes. So Vermeer was probably the jewel of the 13 that were
Uh-huh.
stolen, because it's so rare. It's also such a gorgeous painting.
Wow.
And Isabella Gardner bought it
Mm-hmm.
at an auction in Paris
Mm-hmm.
for $6,000
Uh-huh.
at the time. Vermeer actually was not well known at that time, but she fell in love with the painting. And of
Uh-huh.
course, it's absolutely priceless right
Oh.
now.
Uh-huh.
So I as an art dealer, was so angry, and
Uh-huh.
also as a Boston resident,
Oh,
about
yes.
this. And I started putting together some thoughts about what might have happened,
Right.
because the thieves were in the museum
Uh-huh.
for 81 minutes,
Oh,
which is unheard of.
wow.
Usually in art thefts, thieves rush in and grab what's closest to the door,
Uh-huh.
but that didn't happen at the Gardner. They tied up the night guards,
Oh
who
my
were
gosh.
Berkeley music students,
Oh my
and
gosh.
they had the run of the place for 81 minutes, and they could
Oh,
have stole anything, but
yes.
they chose these 13 art objects. And
Uh-huh.
I believe there was a mastermind. The thieves were just henchmen for
Oh,
the mastermind, and they did
wow.
a pretty terrible job. They
Yes.
cut the paintings out of the frames.
Oh my gosh.
They just sort of grab things, but I think they were working from a laundry list. So my
Oh.
protagonist is an art dealer,
Oh.
and she analyzes all 13 art objects, and
Uh-huh.
she finds an underlying theme, which is the tension between dark and light.
Huh.
And from that, she puts together a psychological profile of the thief. She
Oh.
says that the thief is, the light side is very confident,
Mm-hmm.
very, very wonderful,
Right.
and the dark side is someone who is really greedy and
Oh.
believes that they deserve whatever they can grab hold of.
Right.
And so the tension in the paintings is reflected in the personality of the thief. In
Oh.
the novel,
Uh-huh.
she comes into contact with the FBI. She's introduced to them,
Uh-huh.
and they are very taken with her analysis and
Uh-huh.
her profiling. And in real life, the
Uh-huh.
FBI actually never analyzed
Oh.
the 13 stolen objects. It's
Uh-huh.
like, how could the thieves have stolen 3 Degas drawings when right next to them
Uh-huh.
was a priceless drawing by Michelangelo?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, they did steal, the Vermeer, which is priceless, and they
Right.
stole some Rembrandts.
Right.
But, it's like one of the jewels of the Gardner collection
Uh-huh.
is Titian's Rape of Europa,
Uh-huh.
which is in on the third floor, and they could have easily gone to
Gotten
the
that.
third floor and
Right.
taken that.
Right,
But
right.
Isabella Gardner hired the leading Italian Renaissance scholar at the
Uh-huh.
time, named Bernard Berenson,
Uh-huh.
and he helped her put the Italian Renaissance collection together.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
in actual fact, if we're just looking at money
Yes.
versus art,
Mm-hmm.
the Italian Renaissance paintings are even more valuable
Valuable.
than the paintings that were stolen from the Dutch room. So
Wow.
the content of the
Uh-huh.
paintings
Uh-huh.
had to have some meaning for the hypothetical thief.
Thief. And
And
can you just tell us, Carol, too, because not everybody's familiar with the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. That has a really interesting story. Can you just give us a little bit of background on that?
on the museum
Yes,
itself.
on the museum
Okay.
where this theft took place.
Okay, so the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is on the Fenway in Boston.
Uh-huh.
It's right across the street from Simmons University, which is where I got my MBA, actually. And so it's, near the Museum of Fine Arts, it's
Uh-huh.
near the Museum Art School. It's it's part of the Emerald necklace of the Fenway area
Right.
that Franklin Law Olmsted designed for
Mm-hmm.
Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So Isabella Gardner was a traveler and a collector,
Mm-hmm.
and she loved Venice. So the Gardner Museum is designed like a Venetian palace.
Oh.
It looks very austere on the
Uh-huh.
outside,
Uh-huh.
but if you walk inside, your breath will be taken away because it's these pink walls
Wow.
that have nasturtiums streaming
Uh-huh.
down. It has a courtyard with all kinds of gorgeous flowering plants
Oh my
and
goodness.
ancient Italian sculptures.
Uh-huh.
It is a masterpiece.
Yes.
And I've taken so many people there over the years, and
Uh-huh.
they are just stunned, not
Yes.
only at the beautiful building, but
Mm-hmm.
at the quality of the art
Art.
collection.
Yes,
So
yes.
Isabella, in her day,
Mm-hmm.
was considered a rebel
Uh-huh.
by the other Boston matrons who were much more society matrons who were
Uh-huh.
much more conservative.
Uh-huh.
She was a risk taker.
Mm-hmm.
She she would wear uh, she would wear a banner that said "Go you Red Sox" when she went to the Fenway.
Uh-huh.
She would dress up um, when she went to see, the baseball team.
Right.
But when she went to the Brighton Roadway, which
Uh,
was a place where horses were raced, she would dress up in ermine and silk with flowers in her hair. She was quite something. And
yes.
in my novel,
Uh-huh.
the protagonist, who is an art dealer,
Right.
um, has a relationship with Isabella Gardner. It's not real; it's imagined.
Imagine. Uh-huh.
She Isabella Gardner is her idol,
Uh-huh.
and so she joins Isabella on the raceway, and she
Uh-huh.
gets into her carriage, and she has a discussion with her about
Uh-huh.
Degas.
Uh-huh.
And Isabella says, "I don't care, Miss Portia. Just get those paintings back." So I had a lot of fun
Yeah,
writing this
writing this book.
novel.
So tell me, and I didn't get to read, I read a synopsis of everything, but or are we giving away too much if we say, did they ever recover these paintings that were stolen?
In real life, they have not yet recovered them.
Oh my
No, it's been
gosh.
32 years and they have not
Oh,
yet recovered them.
oh my
Um,
goodness.
it's really, really
And no
sad.
one has ever like found any of those paintings anywhere, like on the market somewhere, or someone trying to auction them off or anything.
You really can't. They're too well known,
Uh-huh.
so they could not be auctioned.
Right.
They're too well known. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, my fantasy in my novel,
Yes.
they are returned.
Oh, okay.
In my novel, the heroine, Portia Malatesta,
Uh-huh.
works with the FBI and Interpol,
Uh-huh.
and they get the paintings back,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
because that's my wish,
Right,
my
right.
greatest,
Yes.
greatest wish.
Wow.
My fantasy is that they are in someone's house somewhere.
Right.
You know, and this definitely is a realistic possibility. This has
Yeah.
happened before.
Oh.
Um, Fairly recently in Germany, the son of Hitler's major art dealer, when
Uh-huh.
Hitler was stealing lots of art from Jewish families in
Yes.
Europe.
Yes.
Um, he had a collection of his father's art that was
Uh-huh.
stolen, and so it's now being returned to the original
The
owners.
original
So
owners.
it's not inconceivable
Right.
that the art would be in someone's home.
Someone's home. Yes. And I just said, because I'm thinking somebody that would steal like that, they can't have too much sense. They steal and then they may, try to think that they're going to get money or something and they just stupidly try to auction it off. But I mean, if you have a little bit of sense, right, they're too famous to try and auction off, but that would be the only other reason I would think somebody just wants them in their home, other
Right,
than the monetary value is getting them in their
right,
home. But
right.
oh
They
my
want it
goodness.
for their own selfish
Yes.
reasons. And, Hitler and Goring,
Right.
um, that's what they did
Oh,
during, World War II. They were
right.
amassing this huge collection, each of them.
Uh-huh.
And, they were the worst examples. But this
Yes.
kind of stealing art because you love art and you feel that you deserve it,
Uh-huh.
and that you shouldn't have to go the ordinary route to get
Right.
it,
Uh-huh.
is not a new story. It's
Oh.
something that's happened before.
Uh-huh.
Um, when thieves steal something, as I said, just for the monetary value, they
Right.
just grab what's closest to the door and run.
Oh.
So um, this was a very well thought out plan, because
Yes.
whoever was behind it, the mastermind,
Mm-hmm.
knew that the gardener had weak security in the evenings,
Oh.
and so they put together this plan, and they
Mhm.
had, as I said, a shopping list, because
Yes.
they could have chosen um, lots of other art that
Right.
was really valuable
Yes.
and magnificent, because Isabella she's the one with a discerning eye. She had lots of money, but what made her different was her eye.
Uh-huh.
She could buy something while she was traveling, and it
Uh-huh.
would turn out to be a masterpiece.
Wow.
She did that with Japanese scrolls. She did
Mm-hmm.
that with all kinds of, Chinese artifacts. She did
Uh-huh.
that certainly in Venice, which was, as I
Yes.
said, her favorite place in the world.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. They must have had a laundry list and had it well planned out, because if not, you would think they would just grab whatever they could near the nearest exit and just make a run for it. But this these people, whoever, it's just amazing though. It was 32 years ago, did you say?
Right,
Wow.
right. It happened March 18th, 1990.
Oh my
It
goodness.
was, March 17th,
Uh-huh.
is a big holiday in Boston. It's St.
Yes.
Patrick's Day, but this
Yes.
happened at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh,
So whoever planned it knew that the police would be tied up
oh yes.
with the real police would be tied up
Yes.
with brawls, but the faux police, the police who got the night guards to let them in,
Mm-hmm.
they were disguised as Boston policemen, and they got in by saying, "There's a disturbance in the neighborhood, and we need to get in." and the guards, let them in, which was really not too smart. But
Yeah. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
So
Wow. What
yeah,
an incredible story. So, Carol, tell us, tell my readers where, or my listeners, not readers, listeners, where they can find this book and where they can find more information about you. Do you have a website that they can
I
look for?
do. I have a website. It's
Yes.
www.carolorange.com. They can find the book
Uh-huh.
anywhere books are sold.
Great.
It's in bookstores, it's on Amazon.
Mhm.
There's also an audio version, which I'm very proud of
Oh, wow.
because it's narrated by the actor Campbell Scott and
Wow.
his wife Kathleen McElfresh. And, Campbell is someone whom I know, and he's not only a superb actor, but he's
Yes.
a wonderful person. So I was so
Yes.
thrilled
Oh,
that they
that's
narrated.
exciting. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a great read, or you can even listen to it, or when you're on the beach a lot of times you want something to read, or just outside enjoying, the summertime. So it's a really beautiful book to read and celebrate National Book Lovers Day. Thanks so much, Carol Orange, and it's a Discerning Eye. And you can go to Carol's website. Are you on any social media, Carol? Can we find you?
Yes, I
Okay.
am. I'm on Twitter. I'm
Uh-huh.
on
There you
Instagram.
go.
I'm on Facebook, of course. And
Yes.
my 9-year-old granddaughter just made a TikTok video.
There you go. There you
I
go.
have to tell you, I'm so proud of it
Uh,
because she decided this is what she wanted to do.
uh-huh.
And she's talented. She's really
Wow.
talented. She
Wow.
synced it to a K-pop song. It's so
My
darling.
gosh. Yeah, it's wonderful. I know my nieces make up a lot of my videos and things too, and they do it so quickly, They just
Yes,
do it
yes.
quickly, where with me it might take me years to do. They just, they know how to do that. That's great. Well, we'll definitely have to look for that video. Thanks again so much, Carol, for being here, and much success with the book A Discerning Eye by Carol Orange. Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show. And thanks, as always, to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's guest, Carol Orange. And also, you can find the excerpt of my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diaries, Seasons, actually the excerpt that I just read. You can find that in that book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diaries, Seasons. And you can also look for a book that I didn't write, but I was the translator, translated from Italian to English. It's a book by award-winning Italian journalist Laura Donadoni. If you like wine, it's a really interesting book. It's called How Wine Can Change Lives, and I had the honor of translating the book from Italian into English. And it's made up of very interesting stories. And if you like reading about Italian family wineries, the small wineries, and in Italy and more, you'll really enjoy the book as well. And that's called How Wine Can Change Lives. And by Laura Donadoni, translated by Maria Liberati. And again, my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking Diaries, Seasons. It's my diary that you get to read, my memoirs with recipes from my life in Italy. And as always, you can find me on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Twitter at Maria Liberati, on my blog, marialiberati.com, on my Roku channel, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking by Maria Liberati, on my Vimeo channel, Maria Liberati, and let's see, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati. You can find my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, on artoflivingprimamedia.com. That's the publisher's website. and really anywhere books are sold, but you can also find them on my website at marialiberati.com. And until next time, peace, love, and pasta.